Right, so now we're going to look at the meaning of this. So firstly, with the Ishmaelites and the Midianites, now these guys were interchangeable in the Bible. They were either part brothers or brothers. They were closely related, pretty much the same thing. If you check online, you'll find a lot of information on this. I think Ellen White mentions the same thing. And a few other theologians mention the same thing as well, that they were interchangeable in the Bible. Okay, so when they say, for example, in 27, come let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and then in 28, then they're passed by Midianite merchants, pretty much the same thing. But we know that Joseph was sold to them for 20 pieces of silver. Right, now the meaning of 19 to 29. Now it does seem like a story where Joseph is going to be going through struggles, and he does, okay, because this is where he goes from being a boy to a man, right? Now, Ellen White writes, meanwhile, Joseph, with his captors, was on the way to Egypt, and as the caravan journeyed southward towards the borders of Canaan, the boy could discern in the distance, among the hills, which lay his father's tents. Bitterly he wept at the thought of that loving father in his loneliness and affliction. Again the scene of Dothan came before him. He saw his angry brothers and felt their fierce glance bent upon him. The stinging, insulting words that had met his agonized entreaties were ringing in his ears. With a trembling heart he looked forward to the future. What a change in situation, from a tenderly cherished son to a despised, helpless slave. Alone and friendless, what would be his lot in the strange land to which he was going? For a time Joseph gave up to this uncontrolled grief and terror. That's from Patriarchs and Prophets. Now, which is true, like Joseph was now becoming, like I said, a man. He was under this tender care and tender love of his father, and now he was going to a strange land where he would have to fend for himself. He had to be self-sufficient now. He would have to cope with difficulties without his father helping him, right? So all of this was dawning upon him, and he was like, hang on a second, what am I going to do? But then he remembered the lessons that his fathers used to speak about. Joseph believed that the God of his fathers would be his God. Then and there gave himself fully to the Lord, and he prayed that the keeper of Israel would be with him in the land of exile. That dawned upon him when Jacob used to speak about the troubles that he went through and how God delivered him. That's what Joseph came to remembrance of. So in this trial, he remembered his father's